Hey, welcome back to the Console Log. This is a new week with new news about JavaScript in the world at large. This is going to be the week of October 16th to October 22nd, which was just this past week, so that's exciting for you to hear about. Not a terribly exciting week, but I think there are a few things that you should be aware about as you go into your job in this upcoming week so that you can then spread this knowledge with all your peers. So without further ado, let's get started into the Console Log. So, do you use the Mozilla Developer Network to learn and reference all of the documentation for JavaScript and the DOM APIs? You know, like MDN, it's like my go-to place where I want to know what is a node list, what is the, function signature for array.sum. Well, they have now finally decided to team up with Microsoft, Google, the W3C, and Samsung. They're all decided to come together and collaborate to make the MDN network the go-to place for all cross-browser documentation. This is, in terms of documentation, I don't think there can actually be news that is going to be more exciting than this, because there is nothing better than MDN, and now having these big companies involved in this is just going to make that documentation even better. I am so psyched about this because aside from learning how to use JavaScript and the browser, having to remember it is just impossible. And the fact that you can now rely on MDN being the single source of truth for all browsers is just going to make every JavaScript engineer's job easier. So thank you so much to these companies, because this is going to definitely make everyone a much happier developer. Happy birthday to GitHub. They are now 10 years old. The first commit of GitHub was made 10 years ago this past week, which is just mind-boggling that it has been around for that long. Time definitely seems to fly, but the amount of impact that GitHub has had on the programming world in general is very immeasurable. It's had a lot of influence, and all of that done in just 10 years. So happy birthday, GitHub. You have reached double digits, and still can't do anything fun. You have to wait till you're 18, but you brought us a lot of fun, so thank you. In React World, they recently did a huge code restructuring of their repo to now actually use Yarn Workspaces for the React source code. Why this is a big deal for you is that it should make reading the source code for React a lot easier. I've tried to read the source code for React a couple of times and gotten more than a little bit lost. So having a mono repo style that is more common throughout the JavaScript community with Yarn Workspaces, I think will make the friction to getting involved in React, if you want to hack on React, a lot lower. So just FYI, using Yarn Workspaces, pretty damn cool. And to round off this week of links, there were a bunch of releases, and you know me, I love new things. The first new thing that happened this past week was that Chrome version 62 was promoted to stable. So if you have not upgraded your, or if you haven't restarted your browser in the past week, please do. That's always one of my biggest pet peeves, when I see a friend or coworker's Chrome browser and it just has this little check mark that says upgrade pending. Just upgrade it. They're always so much better. Those versions are just faster and better. The new thing for developers in Chrome 62 is that the console now supports top-level await operators. And that's great when you're just doing simple debugging, making a fetch call to some API. You can now just make a synchronous-looking asynchronous call with await. I don't think that's actually supported in JavaScript runtimes themselves, but just having it in the console for a nice little debugging feature is definitely going to be awesome. Another thing also is they now have better CSS grid highlighting. So if you are using CSS grid, which I did talk about last week in that video, so you should read about or listen to that there, this should make your debugging experience a lot more fun. Number 2 for releases is Node 9.0.0 is slated to be released in October 31st. That release cycle sure seems to be speeding up, because I feel like Node 8 was just released last week, but maybe that's just me. Node 9 is not going to bring any new features with its release, but a lot of minor things. A lot of things are still experimental behind command line flags, but there you have it, Node 9 coming soon. And Babel version 7.0.0 beta 3 was also released this past week, where it's bringing about more features for more proposals in the 2C39 committee, and it's just chugging along. So just put in your mind that sooner than later you may be upgrading to Babel 7, and this is your warning so you are not surprised and a babbling mess of confusion. Okay, that was the week. That was the console log. Do you have everything that you need to know for the week ahead so that you are a better JavaScript engineer? Hopefully you have more knowledge now because you have just watched this video. Let me know what you enjoyed in the comments. Let me know what you didn't enjoy in the comments. Let me know what I don't know in the comments. And please do spread the word about the console log. I'm trying to build up the audience, trying to reach as many people as I can to just make people more informed around the world. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you again next week.